also experienced, it's part of Erickson's question, but I also often experience a dry mouth when performing. And I've been in musicals, opera, concerts, and if you're on stage during an opera or a musical and you have a big role, you're not going off stage for almost an hour. And you can't just bring your water bottle with you, right? So that was been always been a big thing for me. And in theaters, the air tends to be incredibly dry. It's dusty, and you feel this cotton mouth sensation, and then this panic starts to kick in. I'm going to get too much mucus, and I've actually didn't know, but I actually have been biting on my tongue for about 30 years to help out with that. But it's stressful, and I've had to sing through it. And still to this day, if after being on stage for 34 minutes, I start getting dry, I'm like, oh no, I've actually stashed little bottles of water on the set when I could get down behind something and take a quick drink, built it into my routine. I'd dive behind here, but that's not a viable option all the time. So, what do you do? Is it really dry, Lynn? Is the mouth really getting dry, or is there any what can you do in preparation for that and during while that's happening?
Yeah, well, I think what I was saying earlier, especially for the singer, is making sure you're well hydrated well before, because the thing is that the everything that we drink immediately goes to the organs that where it's most important, and then anything that's left over goes beyond that, and the vocal folds are kind of very far down the priority list. So what we're drinking in the previous 24 to 48 hours is actually what's vital to our vocal folds. Now, if your mouth is dry, it's an uncomfortable feeling, whether it is dry or just feels dry. Um, and so I would say that for singing, it's okay for the mouth to be dry, but you don't want the vocal folds to be dry. This is just me talking off the top of my head about it. I feel like if it's not interfering with your singing, then you can just let it go. If it is, then maybe you need to be making sure that you're better hydrated. But what happens is that your mouth doesn't need to be moist for you to run away or fight. So moisture is being going off to the heart, to the bigger muscles, the important places that need moisture, and that's why it feels like you're not actually, that you don't have a very moist mouth. And if you sweat a lot, then obviously you're losing lots of fluid that way as well. Yeah, it is harder definitely for some performers to be able to have access to water, but that water is more of a comfort thing on the stage. It's not actually moistening your vocal folds. It might make your mouth feel more comfortable, but it won't get to your vocal folds, for quite some hours.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good tips. I can also recommend, if you have this like I do, what I would do is I would, in my rehearsal session, I just wouldn't drink any water. And most of us during coaching sessions, I myself as a coach and as a singer have a bottle of water. It's like this comfort thing. We like to have that. We don't like to have a dry mouth. But psychologically, and the facts are, like Lynn said, that doesn't mean your vocal folds and your instruments necessarily dry. So I had to condition myself to get used to singing with that sensation, and also over time realize it's not inhibiting my performance. Now, if you do have to keep your body well hydrated, but practice that. If you're experiencing that on stage, if you're doing a gig, you can have a water bottle there, nobody cares. But if you have a long stage performance where you have no time to drink, or you're in a musical or an opera or something, then or giving a recital, often we get to have a drink there. But practice actually during your sessions and your rehearsals. Don't drink for 30 minutes and see what happens. You might have that dry sensation, but I promise you, you'll get through it. It might not be comfortable in the beginning, but you'll get through it.